YouTube, your boy back once again with another sport topic, and today we're going to talk some football, Houston Texans football. Today we're going to talk about the defense, how we can help out the defense, and how we can make one of the units on the defense, not one of just the strongest on the team, but potentially one of the strongest in the whole entire NFL, and that's the secondary. We're going to break it down before we get in there. Like I've been telling y'all before, man, if you're liking the content, make sure you're liking the channel, make sure you're watching all the videos, you comment all the videos, you liking all the videos, you're sharing all the videos on all social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat, any type of social media platform you use. Make sure you share them on the same social media platforms. Also, follow me on social media as well. The link in the description below. We still in the race to get the 6,000 subscribers. You know what that means. I need you to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell a friend, tell another friend, tell some more friends to put them on Game the Channel so we can get the channel growing and growing and growing. Really, really appreciate that. Trying to get the 6,000 subscribers, and I can't do it without y'all. So I need y'all to like, share, and subscribe, and let's get this channel growing and growing. Now, let's talk about, because like I said the other day about Saquon Barkley, I feel like the Houston Texans' number one free agent target move should be going after a player like Saquon Barkley, and I still believe that. Now, we've also got information today about the salary cap space going up, if I'm not mistaken, up to $6 million. The Texans will have roughly around $68 million in salary cap space, and that's before they do anything with anybody else on the roster, you know, trying to move some people around and move some money around to actually increase that. So I'm pretty sure that number will probably increase, especially if need be. And I do think the Houston Texans can, should, and will spend money this offseason. And one of the units that I think they need to spend money on is in the secondary. We need to put help on that back end, and we need to help out that secondary. Now, one of the news today that cornerback from the Miami Dolphins, Xavier Howard, has either been cut or is rumored to be cut. Not a complete 100% sure if he's cut by the time that I record this, but I do know that at the very least it's a conversation. And again, it's been buzzing about him coming to the city of Houston. One, he's from the city of Houston. He's been tied to Houston before, back during the Larry Tunsil trade. When we were talking about trading Xavier Clown to the Dolphins, we were potentially thinking we can get Xavier Howard then. And then there was another trade talking about with Miami. I think it might even been during the Deshaun trade as well, about putting Xavier Howard into in that trade and including him in the trade and making him Houston Texan. And again, Xavier Howard, when you look at a guy who's led the league in interceptions twice, in 2018 had 7 interceptions, led the league in interceptions, and in 2020 led the league in pass deflections with 20, and also led the league with 10 interceptions that year as well. So he's a guy who's used to getting interceptions, and the guy's able to turn force turnovers and put turnovers on the football. This past year had 12 pass deflections, only 1 interception, played 13 games. The thing is, and part of the reason why that he's rumored to be cut, if not already cut by the time that I make this video, that he was due to make $18 million this year. At the age of 30, a 30-year cornerback who's had injury concerns, who's missed times, like I said, he's only played 13 games this season. He's missed time the past couple of years, and rumored to make, or was scheduled to make $18 million. Now, again, when I put into these numbers and I tell you some of these other guys who I think the Texans should target, he's better than some of these options, but he's not better than the main option. And for me, the main option that I think the Texans should target after Saquon Barkley, I think Saquon Barkley should be their number one free agent target. And that was Jerry Sneed, cornerback out of Kansas City. Just won Super Bowl. A guy is only 27 years old. His market value, it states that he's potentially looking at a contract, a 4-year, $65 million contract for $16.3 million per year. This past season, targeted 90 times, gave up 0 interceptions. Most targets without giving up an interception, most targets without giving up a touchdown since Stephon Gilmore in 2019. Had 2 interceptions and also gave up 50% completion percentage against him. So thrown his way 50 times, a receiver caught the football. That's what we're looking at from the cornerback position. I think he's clearly the number one corner on the free agent. Again, if he reaches free agency, is remains to be seen, because he is a unrestricted free agent, or restricted free agent, I'm sorry. Since he's a restricted free agent, he won't be able to hit the market till free agency starts. And because the Kansas City Chiefs because he's one of their free agents, the Kansas City Chiefs can sign him at any given time. So if they want to sign him, they can sign him at any given time before free agency starts in the middle of March. I think it's March 13th. So will he be able to make it? Again, I know the Kansas City Chiefs' main objective is to re-sign Chris Jones. So I do think their attention is mostly going to be on Chris Jones. And I do think that Snead more than likely could hit free agency. Now, there's a strong possibility he doesn't, because he might want to stay in Kansas City. Pat Mahomes might restructure his contract so he can stay in Kansas City. All those things are true. But I do think if he hits the free market, that's the guy who I want the Texans to sign. Like, again, we giving Saquon Barkley $10 million. We can afford to give Snead $16 million. Part of the reason why, because you look at now another cheap option who I do like, Miles Bryant, the cornerback out of New England, his market value looks at around 3 years, $8.3 million. He's a solid tackler. Not as good as coverage, but is a solid tackler. So I like that. But then you got somebody like Adoree Jackson. His free agency, his market value is 4 years, $11.3 million. Kendall Fuller, out of Washington, his market value is 3 years, $14.1 million. Jeff Okudah out of Atlanta, 4 years, $14.7 million. CJ Henderson out of Carolina, his market value is $8.4 million, 2 years, $8.4 million. Stephon Gilmore is scheduled as a 33-year-old corner, looking at $11 million per year. Steven Nelson, who's on the Texans right now, is scheduled to make around $10 million. Witherspoon, the cornerback out of LA, out of LA Rams, is scheduled to make $10.2 million. When I look at these other guys and look at some of the market, I looked at the corner from Cincinnati. I couldn't find his market value, so that's why I don't have him up there, because I don't know exactly what his market value. But these guys here that I'm looking at, according to their market value, Snead's the better option. Snead's the better option. And there's not that much difference of paying, and you're getting a top corner at the age of 27. Now again, Xavier Howard is 30. You give him a contract again. I'm pretty sure, like if he was making $18 million, I'm pretty sure Xavier Howard's market value is going to be around $13 to $14 million. If that's the case, I might as well get Snead, that's 3 years younger and is coming off of less injury concerns and more of a shutdown. Xavier Howard does turn the football. He does force turnovers. I give you that. He does force turnovers. And the one thing that is in Xavier Howard's favor is that either he has or potentially be released, which means if he's released and he's not expiring contract, he's cut and released, he's able to sign today. Like if the Dolphins cut him today, he's able to sign to the Texans or anybody else today. You ain't got to wait for free agency. You ain't got to do none of that. So that is a feather in the cap for him, and I can see the Texans going with that route, doing something like that. But it's not just the cornerback position. You also got to target the safety position. I think the safety position they should target is Geno Stone, safety out of Baltimore, 24 years old. His market value is 3 years. 3 years, $21 million, averaging $7.2 million a year. He has 68 tackles, 9 pass deflections, 7 interceptions, led all safeties in the NFL with 7 interceptions. So you could get production, especially if you're pairing Snead and him with Stingley on the opposite side. Because this is the thing, Stingley on the opposite side, whoever the other corner is going to garner a lot of attention. It's going to garner a lot of attention just because teams are not going to be throwing towards Darius Stingley Jr. They're not. He's going to be taking out the number one option. So they're not going to be targeting. They're going to be targeting the opposite corner. So if you put any of these other guys, Adoree Jackson, Kendall Fuller, Jeff Okudah, CJ Henderson, a 33-year-old Stephon Gilmore, a 32-year-old Steven Nelson, and a 28 Witherspoon, you put them in a 31, because actually Xavier Howard will be 31 by the time the season starts. You're a 31-year-old corner on the opposite side. Who you think is going to go? Who you think they're throwing to? And you don't want to be in week 10, week 7, week 8, week 9, whatever, against the Miami Dolphins, going up against a Tyreek Hill and a Jalen Waddle, or against Patrick Mahomes, or against Josh Allen, the Buffalo Bills, or Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers, and Darius Stingley happens to miss a game. Because let's be honest, and I think Darius Stingley is a phenomenal corner. I do think that he's going to end up being in the conversation to be a top 5 corner, if not 2 or 3 best corner in the league next year. But we got to talk about this and be completely honest that Darius Stingley only had one real, complete, healthy season, and that was in 2019, his freshman year at LSU. His sophomore year, he missed time with injury. His junior year, he missed time with injury. And both these last 2 years of his NFL career, he's missed time with injury. Now, when he came back, he probably was one of the best, if not the best, cornerback playing football outside Snead, if not even better, because the way he was able to catch interceptions, able to turn the football over, the way he was able to shut down Amari Cooper against the Cleveland Browns. I'm not questioning the dude's talent. My thing is, we just going to be honest. It's going to be times and point in the seasons that he's probably going to miss a game here and there. You don't want the situation that he misses a game and now Xavier Howard or Stephon Gilmore or Adoree Jackson or Jeff Okudah or CJ Henderson is your primary corner. or a rookie of note, because we could get a rookie at 23, and that might change the conversation depending on if you're able to get a Nate Wiggins out of Clemson or Arnold out of Alabama. So those things can also change the question. I'm not disputing that. But also, again, same thing with the safety situation. Like, again, I have, until proven otherwise, I think that Jalen Petrie is a liability. And you need somebody opposite him. And I don't think we need to get a rookie opposite Jalen Petrie. Because I don't want a guy like Jalen Petrie who gives up a lot of big plays and then have a rookie safety out there. Because, again, as the starting safety in that situation, because of what I just know, you're going against Patrick Mahomes this year. You're going up against Josh Allen. You're going up against those receivers in Miami. You're going up against Lamar Jackson. You're going up against Jordan Love. You're going up against those receiving threats, tight end threats, and things like that. Against the Alliance. And again, you would put yourself in a different weight class, because now and going forward, these are the guys that you're going up against. You're not just going up against Ryan Tannehills and Trevor Lawrences and things like that. You're going to be competing against the Josh Allens, the Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, the Joe Burrows, and things like that throughout the regular season and in the playoffs. And if you get to the Super Bowl, you go up against the teams like the 49ers and the weapons that they have. So you need to have help on that back end. Now, some of the other safeties that you got Xavier McKinney out of Washington. He's targeted to get 5 years, $10 million a year. You got a Hyde out of Buffalo, if I'm not mistaken. He's scheduled to make $3 million. I mean, the safeties are a little bit cheaper. Outside McKinney. McKinney's around $10 million. Again, I think more likely the Giants are going to find a way to keep McKinney onto the team, especially if they're going to be losing somebody like Saquon. So I do think that McKinney will be. I think McKinney probably will end up getting tagged, or if not, they'll find a way to sign him. I think the free agent target should absolutely be Geno Stone, because he could turn the football over. And again, even if you don't get Stone, if you have Snead out there and you have Darius Stingley, don't you think how you could shut anybody down, all those receivers I named? Now we can focus when we go up against the Kansas City Chiefs and we go up against somebody like Travis Kelce. We can double team Travis Kelce because both our corners are shut down, lockdown. So we could double team. We could double team the tight ends. We could double team Laporta out of Detroit. We could double team him. We could put a linebacker and put a safety. We could double team because our two corners are locked down, shut down. And then if Stingley happens to miss a game, 2 or 3, it's not that bad of a dip off because you still have a number one corner if you have Snead. And again, the thing is, if Snead actually enters free agency, I understand that Snead might not enter free agency because the Chiefs might be able to lock him up. And again, that's why I'm looking at. To be honest, I like Miles Bryant, cornerback out of New England. I would take him, a guy, if I'm not mistaken, I think he's 28 years old. 28 years old to maybe 25. Between 25 and 28 years old. He's still a better option than the third-tier Xavier Howard, who's shown you have had injury history. Even though I know back in 2018 and 2020, those 2 years, he led the league in interceptions. I understand that. But again, if you get Miles Bryant and then sign Geno Stone, who led the team and led the league in interceptions by safety this year with 9 pass deflections and 7 interceptions, when you talk about something like that, and you also have Darius Stingley, then hopefully Jalen Petrie can get better, and then also you put more money on that front end, you put more money in the DTs and the linebackers, stuff like that, that's a different conversation. Because again, if you get Miles Bryant for $8.3 million and then get Geno Stone for $7.2, that right there is around the type of money that you're spending for Snead. And I understand that. If you did something like that, I'm not complaining right there. I would go after Snead. But it's kind of like back in 2011 when we were going after Nnamdi. And we wanted to pay. Nnamdi was the number one option. Nnamdi was the best cornerback coming out of free agency. Everybody wanted Nnamdi, and you want to throw a bag at Nnamdi. And what Rick Smith and the Texans decided to do was, instead of the money that we're going to go get Nnamdi, we take that bag that we're about to go get Nnamdi, and we take that and we give that to both J. Joe and also Daniel Manning, and it worked out. One of the two best years that we've seen out of a secondary for the Houston Texans collectively was in that 2011, that 2012 season. Then you got a guy who ended up being a long-term answer and a long-term option, and a guy who spent the majority of his career in J-Jo in the Houston Texans, got contract after contract. Normally guys don't get, normally free agents, once you sign a free agent, they don't really get third contracts. I think J-Jo got like 4 contracts with the Texans, if I'm not mistaken, 3 or 4. because he was still highly productive in his third in the NFL in pass deflections all time, not just in Texas history, all time third in the whole NFL in pass deflections. So if you did something like that and go get Miles Bryant and go get Geno Stone, I'm perfectly okay with that. I'm perfectly okay with that. If you, instead of going out there and get Snead, me personally, I will go after Snead because again, I think we got the cap space, to do it. We have the situation to do it. I think it's time to go big or go home. I understand that, but if they don't want to go that route, I'm very cool with them going after and signing Miles Bryant out of New England and Geno Stone out of Baltimore at the cornerback and safety position, shore up the secondary so we can go out there and we can compete against these guys confidently against these other quarterbacks in the NFL. Like, subscribe if you haven't, comment below if you haven't, click that bell, get more videos. I'll holla.